We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there eventually. With no audio issues whatsoever. But yes, welcome my dream swarm. Welcome my dreamers. Welcome my dears. And to Somnium, I am Mira, your Dream Siren. And tonight, beneath the willow tree, we will be having a very cozy, sort of mind-bending Zatsu format. So our Thursdays will be probably about an hour in length, unless oops, sorry. Sorry about that. So Thursdays is going to sort of be not just like a reflection point, right? Because you get so close to the end of the week. And then I think sometimes we kind of run into the weekend, right? We don't take any time to process the things that have happened in our week, to take time to digest and allow us to, figure out what needs to be data dumped, what things we need to focus on and grow more. And so Thursdays, Zatsus will be catered in a way to helping my dreamers to accomplish that. So beneath the willow tree, it'll probably be about a 45-minute to an hour session unless the chat becomes a little bit more engaging. Otherwise, it is here for you to come back to and lay back underneath the tree again with the dream stream just flowing by with its knowledge and its questions and its provocations to, stir up your dream mentality. And it'll be just like a little, I guess you could almost consider it like an ASMR sort of reflective point in your week. And that's why we have to make sure that the mic is actually doing well. So let me do a quick volume check. Give me just a moment. Testing. Maybe it could be a little bit louder, but I suppose if we come very close. Come close to me, baby. So we'll have a couple of thought-provoking questions that I'll speak to. Please feel free to add your dialogue in the chat. On Thursdays, please drop a candle or an Oshi mark into the chat just to, allow yourself to become a little bit more ritualized and dig a little deeper into these thought-provoking questions and allow your mind to sort of open up to, things you may not have thought of or things you need to process within your mind from your week. And just, yes, and enjoy your brain detox, I guess is in a way that we can say it. So welcome, my dear dream swarm. The willow waits for your words tonight. Again, please drop a candle or one of my Oshi marks in the chat. Grab your warm beverage of choice settle in and allow the winds to carry us to the conversations that await ahead. So, as we lay here underneath the willow with our feet softly floating in the stream, why don't we see what the dream stream has brought for us tonight to take into our mind and heart and allow us to, I guess you could almost look at it as like, to take those things in and wash over us and renew our thoughts and renew our mentality before we get ready to get into the fun part of the week, the weekend. So the first prompt that I think we can sort of look into is, what emotion do you hide the most beautifully? And I like to think about it in that way because I think there was a little burp there. I think sometimes when we think of hiding, right, we think of it in a negative connotation, right? We think of shame when we hide things. We think of internalized guilt when we think about hiding. Typically, we think of even being ostracized or shunned, even though we're already hiding. It's almost like trying to get ahead of the inevitable, or so we think. But when we think about our emotions that we hide in a beautiful way, or hiding our emotions beautifully, what does that look like? Does that look like boundaries? I think that's a good reflective point to begin with. Right? When we think about hiding something beautiful, my mind thinks about nature and the camouflage that we see all throughout nature, whether it's in plant life, whether we see it in the animal species. Very extravagant, right? Big, colorful plants. But then sometimes there's very simplistic things that are hidden, right? So I think the first thing to think after looking at addressing maybe boundaries being something that's a tool that we can hide our emotions with in a beautiful way. You have to kind of go out of your way to see some of the most beautiful animals and beautiful nature scenes, right? Like the most beautiful parts of nature itself are hidden away from the world. It's untouched, it's unavailable to everything and everyone. And the seeker has to go on a journey, find what is hidden. And when we think about hiding our emotions in a very beautiful way, what if we also think that there is this process of those who have to come and begin a journey, seek the most beautiful parts of ourselves, right? Because you really shouldn't be so available. All of your emotions, all of your dreams, all of those things should not be open for the whole wide world to see. For we don't always know, nor should we have an expectation that people will care for those hidden things, our hopes and our dreams, in the way that we would need them to be cared for, correct? So it's wise to hide the most beautiful parts of yourself away. It is protective. It is long and enduring. It is a treasure hunt in a way, to seek out those parts within another and almost find like that beautiful gem of their emotion, and make sure to not do anything to tarnish it or to break it or to bring harm to it. So let's go back to the basis of our question. What emotion do you hide the most beautifully? Now that we have tapped in a little bit to understanding that the most beautiful things sometimes are hidden, and that's rather lovely to me. I think about when I'm walking through the gardens here in Somnium and I see dreamers in the maze here wandering about, and it's not always in despair. Sometimes things that are hidden can provoke curiosity within ourselves, right? Sometimes our own things hidden even from ourselves, I think. It can become a beautiful discovery and the evolution of a part of ourselves that was completely untapped. So I think that's really a nice way to roll that out in the mind. It doesn't feel so scary that way. So what emotion do you hide the most beautifully? I should also type these into the chat. Let's scoot over just a little bit. There we go. So, I would say something very common that I see from a lot of dreamers is hiding enthusiasm. And I find it to be a curious emotion to hide. It's almost like not wanting parts of you to know that you're so led by conviction of something. And there's almost this sort of protective aspect to hiding how jovial someone can be about something. When we hear people say very commonly, I just can't hide my emotions about it. I just can't hide my feelings about it. But then for those that do, right? Especially when you go after and their dream is attained they're touching and holding the thing that they have desired and longed for and worked for. And it's almost like I didn't want to let myself believe it unless I knew 100% that it would come through. So instead of outwardly reflecting my excitability, my joy, my enthusiasm about this thing that I'm manifesting, I had to keep it even from myself, right? And I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing. I think there's an aspect of self-preservation there. I think there's a part of even the self that may be protecting another part of oneself from disappointment if something doesn't go through. But I think that that's a beautiful way to think about hiding our emotions, hiding our enthusiasm, hiding our conviction that we know this is gonna work out. So how do you, or what emotion do you hide the most beautifully? Our next short prompt. What does the stream want to share? To dig a little further into our mind detox before the weekend is upon us. What things can we put down? What things can we stop over processing? What things can my dreamers allow themselves to say, I've done really well with this week. I don't need to beat it anymore with a stick. I don't need to address it anymore. And I can allow my mind now to have more space for things to come in my weekend. Oh, okay. I think this is good. And it almost kind of piggybacks off of our first question. What emotion do you hide the most beautifully? What do you wish someone would finally understand about you? Let's type that one out. I think sometimes these questions can present themselves to be sort of scary, in a way that, how can you say it? It's revealing. It's revealing. There's no guarantees. There's no guarantee for understanding when we allow ourselves to take a deeper look at, the things that are buried a little bit further below the surface. So I commend my dreamers for being brave, for opening up, even if just to your own self. Oh. Oops. So, again, what do you wish someone would finally understand about you? Let's let that thought marinate just a moment in our mind. What do you wish that someone would finally understand about you, about who you are, about your desires, even about your pain. And I think in a way, part of that comes in asking my dreamers to really understand not just yourself, but why would you want someone to understand that part of yourself? Because going back to our previous dialogue here with what emotion do you hide the most beautifully, one of the questions I'd like you to ask to yourself is, why do I feel like I have to hide parts of myself? And I don't think there's anything wrong with hiding parts of yourself. As I said before, I do not think that you should put yourself out there so much and expose yourself so much when you're not sure that people will hold your dreams in the way that they need to be held. You don't know if they're going to keep your very tender things hidden away from harm. So it is absolutely understandable not wanting to just throw your whole self out there to the world. So what do we wish someone would finally understand? And I also think that when I reflect on very common themes from my dreamers, I think a lot of people would like for others to understand their silence. I think that people would like to be understood without words when they are raw and when they are naked and unsheltered, without all of their layers of mask and niceties and the proper etiquettes, the unspoken feelings that people have in their silence that maybe sometimes they cannot express. I believe that silence is a really great opportunity to gain understanding from the people around you, and not through them saying, oh, I get it, but in how their treatment is towards you through your silence. That they're not shunning you, which we talked about earlier. That they're not shaming you, right? That they're not picking away and being overly quizzical about something that you maybe feel a bit guarded about. Silence can teach and show respect from others as well. So I would say that's a really great universal theme for my dreamers to take up tonight, is What do you wish someone would finally understand about your silence? And this is especially important for people who are normally very loquacious, very chatty, the yappers. When they're quiet, sometimes people don't know what to do. They're like, this person's normally calling all the shots, and I'm just along for the ride. So when that person is no longer, pointing out every direction and what's going to happen, where do you stand? That's another really great reflection point about silence as well. Think about your closest relationships with people around you, especially getting ready to go into the weekend. If you're anywhere in various parts of your realm of the world down there are massive heat waves going on. There's flooding. People are, going to these extremes, right? So you think about someone who's very chatty, normally very talkative, and then silence. What does it say about the standing of your relationship, even with someone, if you can't withstand silence? And I think that works on both sides. Sometimes people can find themselves in what I would say convenienced relationships. And I don't mean that in, anything more than a platonic stance. But how would you say? Say you're the quiet person, and then the person who is mostly loquacious in your relationship finds themselves to be in a moment where, and it might be longer than a moment. It might be a while where they're just without their words. How does your relationship withstand? And how is silence a teacher in that moment? Where do you develop a mutuality in relationships with people who normally are very talkative and you're just the listener? How do you make up that space? And that doesn't mean necessarily that I think that you have to be then the one to turn around and yep, right? It's how you fill up that space. How can you use silence to still deepen your bond with someone? And you can even take that silence and look at it with yourself, right? When we are without our words, when we are left speechless about something, how do we move forward? How is silence used as a teacher in a moment when we cannot gather the words to express whatever it is that we may be going through in that moment of time? So I think it's okay that silence gets to take space. Silence gets to form itself. It's almost like water. No matter what you put it in, whatever container you put it in, it's going to adapt itself, fill the room. And speaking of the shape of silence, here's another visual for you. What color would your silence be? What is the color of our own loneliness? Right? When we think about silence, we can look at it that way when we're by ourselves, when we are without the noise of the world. What shape and color does silence take shape up around you? Is your silence black, heavy? Is it wet? Is it soaking, right? Is it bright and yellow? Is it refreshing? Is it opening for you? Is silence opening for you versus it being something that's heavy and like closing you off? It's choking you off. How does silence show up to you? I think that is another really beautiful visual that we can sit with for a moment. Those were just two extreme examples. A wet, heavy, dark, think almost like the dampness in a cave, the darkness in a cave, and the echoing silence in there, right? And any little sound that is made reverberating off of everything around you. And then on the opposite end of that, maybe silence is like a wide open field of florals on a soft, breezy spring day. Silence can be enveloping. It can take you in and hold you and lift things from your mind and lift things from your heart that you were not even aware were there. You were not even aware that you needed them to be removed or taken off of you, or that you needed to shift out of that space. Silence can be as much and as powerful of a tool as our words, as the loudest gong sound that permeates through the empty valleys of our heart and our mind, right? So I just want to take a second, because we're going to finish up here in about 15 minutes. I want to take a second and I just want to sit silent. I think that's a really beautiful way to end our stream tonight. The gentle whisper, right? It's right at the edge of silence. So I invite you to sit with me and just have a moment of silence. I was worried for a moment that my model was going to do its little sleeping thing, but okay, it didn't. Okay, back to our moment of silence. And while you allow the silence to almost envelop you like a gentle blanket, take your mind a little further as we, depending on where you are in the world, continue to go into the evening or into the night. Darkness and light can both be that silent wherever you are in the world, so remember that. And while you sit and allow silence to envelop you, I want you to reflect back on the questions that we had today. What emotion do you hide the most beautifully? And what do you wish someone would finally understand about you? We want to thank Silent for being a wonderful companion today for our beautiful reflective moments together. We want to allow for anything that you're ready to take off for the weekend, even if you have to pick it back up again on Monday. I ask you to take off some of the heavy lifting. I ask you to allow more space to dream bigger. I want you to allow more space in your heart for the conviction of your dream coming true. I want you to allow yourself to also remember how much resting is equally as important as you walking each day towards obtaining the dreams that we hold here in our hearts with you, to obtaining your dreams in this life. So, our willows will keep the whispers tight for now, my dreamers. And until next time, may your dreams bloom slowly and your fears forget how to find you. Please join us back here again on next Tuesday. I will post any updates to that schedule that I posted. I'll probably leave that up there and give updates underneath unless it changes, but for right now, the Tuesday, Thursday will be our anticipated streaming. So if there's any changes, I will make an entire new post in the community post, but otherwise I'll put a note underneath there after stream for everyone to just know that will just be our consistent schedule for now. I'm still slightly debating if we're gonna have a gorilla stream Saturday. I would like to enjoy that new K-pop movie that came out on Netflix. It's like the K-pop demon girl something or another. I can't think of the name of it, but if I do wake up feeling well enough to do that on Saturday, I will post about it with at least an hour notification time prior to, and I would be so very happy if you wanted to join me just to cuddle up underneath a blanket together and watch this cute little anime movie. So until then, I am so deeply thankful for each and every one of you. Please have very sweet dreams, beloved. The wind will call when the next one. I'll see you later.